Hello, everyone. Let's head on into Lesko Help Too. All right. Here we are in, excuse me, Lesko Help Too. There's been new activity since I was on this page, so I'll just click that little black button that says new activity to see what's happened in this space since I was last in it. And then today's class is hosted out of the Join Us Live collection. As you see, I have all of my contents menus, the internal ones closed up. Quite easy to do, and it really does help to take away from the overwhelming aspect that you will first feel, pretty much everyone will feel when they come into our community and when they approach that grant hunting world. There's a lot available. So in order to limit that as much as possible, to close those internal contents menus, you just find the utmost tab, that's the collection. It doesn't have a colorful icon like these. It has instead a fancy little arrow. It's all in capitals. And on the right side, you should see a drop-down menu or triangle. Simply click that little drop-down menu or triangle button, and those internal contents menus will disappear. When you want them, you can simply click that drop-down menu or triangle again, and they will show back up. Or you can jump into the overall collection. All right, it does look a little different. I know Julia May, who is our Mighty Networks expert, she does all of the fine tuning to get it to fit Matthew's big picture vision. And she has some plans for this area. So it should have an updated feel in the not too far distant future. All right. And as you see, today's class is hosted out of the teaching session space. When you first come in, you land on the tab that holds all of the different events that are hosted in this space, right? And then next, you have the tab for community answers. This is where I'll leave your answers, but don't worry, if that is all a bunch of jumbled words, I will ask a couple of quick questions at the end of providing your answers and make sure you're completely comfortable getting to those answers, all right? Then you have the replays and PDFs. This is for all of the previously recorded material, along with any documents that are a part of each different unit, right? All right, next you have Q&A highlights. And that is just a bunch of great ways to look at the space, all right? So let's go ahead and jump back into the Community Answers tab where I'll leave your answers and open up the floor to Country Living plus Business questions first. We're going to keep it topic-based in the beginning. If we have time, we'll leave it open for open-ended questions at the end of our session today. So, do we have any questions about country living and business or pets? Claire, your phone is unmuted. Would you like to ask a question about the area of, let's see, how does Matthew live at rural living and business? He changed his titling. I got country living and business from him, but he changed it to, I think, agricultural businesses and rural living. Nope, she's muted herself. All right, guys. Anyone at all? I would really love to answer any questions that you have about funding for anything in the country, anything in agriculture, anything in rural communities, even if you are in a very urbanized or near industrial area and you're interested in agriculture, there are options for you. Yes, Candace, how can we help you today?
How you doing, Miss Sabrina?
Excellent, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing well. I do have a question.
All
Uh,
right.
I was wondering, how do I go about finding grants for the different like farmlands or lands to do? I want to build a compound.
Okay.
So I don't know the best
That's
route.
a big prospect, right? So I have similar big picture goals myself, right? I have step-by-step plans to get there though.
Okay.
I've been in this rural agricultural funding world for quite a while now, focusing on it. And there are big ticket items out there, but we're not going to go from 0 to 250,000. We have to show an investment in our businesses or our nonprofits or both, or our farming or ranching. So as a starting point for myself here in Utah, the base requirement to be considered for production style grant and grant-like opportunities is to bring in an income $1,000 at least a year, 3 years, and off of the piece of property that I have. I don't have to have acreage. It doesn't matter how big or small the property is. It's an economic level, $1,000 for 3 years, probably consecutive. They didn't say that. That's definitely what I'm going to be trying for, right? And so that at a minimum is going to take me 3 years to enter those type of opportunities. At that point, depending on how successful my business is, whether I might be able to find something that will work for my family and I, and it's pretty well a family business, right? Certainly my husband and I are both very well invested in it fully, and the children support us. And whether we're able to go look at maybe 3 to 5 acres, 10 acres, or something bigger, like what you and I are both talking about, getting into a community. Another thing that I've been considering lately that is adjacent to what we're talking about as something that Tammy Larson has actually investigated much further than I have. I have done the preliminary exposure, right? I can find things like it. I understand the overt nature of a community block development grant, but she's torn into it more. So if you join her class on Monday, would be the best one to work with her on that. She has a call, actually, the home and housing help call. So it's still an absolutely appropriate topic as well. And you can talk to her about what she knows about the community block development grant. She hasn't pursued it, but the way that she talks about it, it is the type of process that's going to take months, if not a year or more, in order to work through utilizing it. And so those are for revitalizing areas, right? It's community block development grant, community development grant. And there are small towns all over this country that for one reason or another are not succeeding economically, where there's a lot of businesses and homes that are abandoned and things like that. And I've been thinking, because I want there to be an environmental, sustainable element to all of my endeavors, that I read an article about how people that want to do things of that nature aren't really benefiting the environment right now because they want to go into a new space and make it their own. And so they're actually taking over non-developed wildland. And that's completely contrary to the point. I absolutely agree. I really appreciated the article, and I shared it in my own community, because if we want to be helpful to the environment, we need to understand what it is that we're doing. And so I know of all these little towns that have been abandoned here in the West. I've lived all over the West, and there are some here in Utah that are actually on a path down southeast of where we are, and they're beautiful little towns, but they're not succeeding, and they're littered with abandoned properties of one sort or another. So what I've been thinking is, instead of having new buildings for the homes, I was thinking more like more sustainable builds and things like that. Going into these communities, looking at all the structures that have been abandoned and salvaging what can be of those that need to be gotten rid of entirely, and revitalizing those that have not been deteriorated too far with that more sustainable, ecologically friendly type of a purview, including things like being in a forested area. Some of these little abandoned towns, forest fire is a huge worry on the western half of the country. And there are these homes that are built from mud and clay. And in this most recent Mother Earth News, I love these publications. Let me see if I can find it quickly for you to show you what these little homes look like. Adding elements of this nature in case there's a fire. What actually happens, look at how beautiful they can be. It's not really my style. I'm not into the like Santa Fe style as much, but I am into ecology and logic in approaching a more hospitable, environmentally conscious future. And you can do just gorgeous things with them. And then if there's a fire, I wonder what happens with the roof. I have to do more than just read that one article, but the structures themselves become baked. they become more sturdy and more sustainable, as in how the time, effort, and resources that have been put into that dwelling lasting even longer if they get baked in that way, right? We don't want them to catch on fire. We're not trying to get them to catch on fire. However, if there's a fire in the area, instead of burning down and having to start over, as this woman has had to do where she's at in a forest, she went this way, and if it happens to her again, her structure will be even more sound than it is
Mhm.
already. And so when we think about doing things like that, combining a multitude of efforts and looking beyond just the idyllic, community compound. I actually have a different word when I think about it, but it's not coming to me. My business is collectively rewilding, so that plays on it. But
Homestead.
it's like a deliberate community or something like that. There's this term that's just, it's failing me right now. And I don't want it to be like an HOA or something like that with all these horrible specific rules, more that every decision that we make on our land and how we use it is trying to be more ecologically sound, things like that.
Right.
And so does that help you to get a little bit of an idea of the process that would be involved? It doesn't have to look like mine exactly, but how I'm taking all these steps to move forward, because it's not a tomorrow thing to get a compound, to get an intentional community, I think is the word for it. And so not an HOA, we don't care about color your mailboxes, but we care that the things that we're doing in each of our properties are, nobody knows what the correct way to fix what we've broken is. So the attempt is to move forward in a better fashion. And as long as everybody's attempt is in that mindset, that to me would be an intentional community. And so there are all these different terminologies within it as well. If you don't mind my asking, where are you at in your process?
Well, I'm just looking at this point. I'm just trying to eventually build generational wealth for my twin boys. They will be 16 in January. So I have like some chickens and um a little garden and stuff like that. So we have roughly probably about 3 acres so far.
I'm on a
Um,
little residential plot. Oh, I'm guessing that you're somewhere on the eastern side of the country.
no,
No?
actually I am actually I'm located in Memphis, Tennessee, but
Okay, to
the
me, that's everything east of the Continental Divide is the eastern side of the country.
okay.
I have some family that has lived off and on in Tennessee, and it looks just beautiful. So,
Okay. So yeah, the land and stuff is in um it's in Coldwater, Mississippi.
oh no, so you're separated from the acreage. So where you have your chickens and your gardens is not
Yes.
on the 3 acres. Okay.
No, well, no, it all is together. The
Tennessee and
chickens and
Mississippi
things.
are that close? I didn't realize.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm roughly like maybe 50 miles from there. So
It's not
it's not
horrible.
far to me. Um, cause
From my understanding, the land in Mississippi is also very affordable.
it is very, very, very affordable.
My
And
husband's mother and her partner, I'm not sure if they're married or not. They kind of keep themselves to themselves about things like that. They just want to hear about the children's lives. Um, and so they're over there, and he needs some help to develop all this acreage that he's purchased. And so
hmm
it's always on the table that we could go and live on their acreage, and they would give us just at least an acre. Um, the education level, our children are getting almost out of high school, but they're not quite there yet. Mississippi's education could use some delicate, tender, loving care. So we have
Oh,
chosen to go there, but
well, I homeschool mines, because
so do we. Yeah.
Shelby County is not the best, at all far as the school system. We don't even have a superintendent. But I definitely homeschool my children, but they are very outdoorsy. Like
That's wonderful.
we have some of
I
that
don't
kind
like
of.
the word envy because I don't want to take somebody else's things, but I wish that I could have convinced my children to enjoy the outdoors as much as I do. So congratulations, Mama. You did great.
Well, see, I have boys, and
That does make it a little easier. I
yeah,
agree.
I have boys. So my thing was, if mama could get dirty, you can get dirty. So it's no I I have one that has OCD, so it's really hard with him, but
Mhm.
going through uh the OCD therapist and stuff like that, it's a process, but
Trust me, my daughter, my youngest
he's
has
getting better.
autism, right?
He's
We're
getting better with it, but like he loves to ride the ATVs and the all of that kind of stuff like that, the dirt bikes and things like that, and ride the horses and ponies and stuff. But it's just I'm like, okay, so when it's time to they picked a what is it called? A barndominium that they like and they want to build. And I was just like,
Let me
yeah,
make sure I'm hearing the word right. Is it like this? Oh,
yep,
okay.
barndominium.
I've
Yep.
never heard of that. How
Yes,
cute.
yes, look at it.
Oh, how cute. Oh, that is adorable. I was just reading the description. Let's see if we can get this picture here. That's going to be a YouTube video though, but this picture is here. Let's copy the link address. These AI systems can get hacked somewhat
Oh,
easily. In a way, they're open source, the large language models, and so it's way beyond my understanding. But they can get kind of easily hacked. So keep an eye on it, right? And
yeah.
I did have somebody put malware onto my computer, and we do have a troubleshooting guide, and I added 2 steps that deal with troubleshooting for malware. So if you guys feel like your
Okay.
computers or devices have been compromised, let us know, okay?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And so they were, oh, look at, okay, so
So they come in all different kind of styles and things of that nature, but that's what they want. They was like, I don't want a house. I want a barndominium.
okay, very cool, very cool. All right, so I wasn't familiar with that term, but that is really cute. So there is so much out there for you.
Okay.
But let's let's get you off to a start that will help you come from where you are to continue to expand into different levels so that you can keep working towards that goal as you
Okay.
continue if that's what you want. My husband and I, that's really what we'd like. But with the pricing and stuff over here in the West, we may have to even just stay on our residential property or look at something that's only like an acre to 5 acres, whereas we're really wanting hundreds of acres, right? So it's
Mhm.
all it's all about working in a certain set of goal range and then further as you work towards that final big picture vision. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So what do you want to do, a for-profit or nonprofit business?
Um, Either or. It does. I could do nonprofit. It could give them. I like giving back to the community. So once I like harvest all of the fruits and vegetables and things, my kids already. I drove a school bus for 12 years for special needs. So I'm trying to purchase a school bus to turn it into a bus to pass out the fruits and vegetables that's harvest to the people that can't get to the stores or to the elderly community or to the homelessness because we have a lot of homeless people here that can't get proper care, fruits, vegetables, or people just frown upon them, and it's hard,
Mhm.
and sometimes you just need someone to be nice and let them
All
know that
right.
they are seen, too, regardless of their situation. So,
So what Megan P recommends, she just finished her class before mine started today. She'll
okay,
be back with possibly with myself tomorrow. She's definitely going to be here. She has
okay,
a lecture already prepared that goes along with her businesses that she's going to present. And I either have to watch it as a replay or be along there with you guys. But I'll figure that out. And then we're together adding a nonprofit element to my for-profit business, Collectively Rewilding. And so
Okay.
this is a piece that will help those of us who are interested in that nonprofit idea, if we haven't fully gone through, set it all up, gotten the 501c3 or EINs or structures, to walk through that entire process, right? And so she will be back tomorrow, and then she will be
Okay.
back again on Sunday. She has 2 classes on Sunday.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
absolutely. And so what I was going to write here, I have thought for what I wanted here. I can't remember. No. All right. So then let me show you what I have for you already.
Okay.
I started it off with the nonprofit. Oh, and what I was saying about Megan P, that's what I was doing. Megan P actually recommends having a for-profit and nonprofit element to any
Okay.
business endeavor. And she's much better at explaining all of that, but she'd already been encouraging that. And my business model lends itself really easily to a nonprofit model as well. And so I'd known that Megan was recommending this. And then I have my SBDC, the Small Business Development Center mentor. That's funny. Jeff Clifford. And he's said, oh, I think I've come up with the solution to our chicken and the egg problem. I want content creators that aren't just myself, and then I need members. And so it's this never solving itself, twisting chicken and the egg problem. He said, what if you turn yourself into at least a partially nonprofit business and don't charge for memberships? And so I was like, okay, I have these 2 people that I let guide me in different manners, telling me that this is something that would be good. So that's when I started talking to Megan, and we came up with this class so that you could all follow along with us and see from the beginning to established and functioning and maintaining, and what that process looks like as well. And so that's where you can use both of these pieces. You don't have to pick. You can choose both. All right.
That sounds good to me.
All right. And so then, absolutely, you have the how to use the launch a nonprofit step-by-step guide, and how to use the start my business step-by-step guide. I'm also going to jump into the Unlock Your Goals collection, Start My Business space. And specifically, which if you have not, okay, this is another thing. You have so many different things that you talked about that I want to help you with. So if you have not already gotten an SBDC and or SCORE mentor.
No, not yet. I went to a SCORE meeting this morning though.
That's awesome. So, okay, SBDCs can't work with you on a nonprofit alone. If you have the for-profit and nonprofit, at least mine is willing to work with me as an overall conjunction, though he focuses with me on the for-profit, especially as I have a mentor in Megan P, who is much more familiar with nonprofits. Then SCORE will do either for-profit or nonprofit. And I have a SCORE mentor as well as a business mentor, or an SBDC mentor. And I work with Megan as my mentor and Julia May. You can't almost have too many mentors when you're doing business nonprofit stuff, right? And so you can also, as a female, get almost always for free as well, business mentor from the female entrepreneurship perspective, right?
Okay.
All right. So that's your first lesson right here. And I definitely encourage you to do that. Our business call, where Miss Amber Hawkins can walk you through all of that good stuff for this space specifically, every Wednesday at, I believe, 2:30. Let's jump into yet another tab and jump into our calendar. That is every Wednesday. So that will be this coming Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Mountain, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, and 4:30 p.m. Central, and 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Sorry about that, guys. And she can walk you through getting signed up with one or both of those styles of mentor. All right?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And there are some other areas as well, but you've already got a lot, and I don't want to push too much onto you. But when you're considering rural, agricultural, country style ventures, in your secondary unit here in the Start My Business space in the Unlock Your Goals collection, you will go to about, the middle, and farms and ranches, the grants, loans, and resources for farmers and ranchers lesson. This, guys, oh my gosh, this is probably my favorite lesson out of all of our different courses and guides. Okay, this is a beautiful, beautiful lesson. And not only am I partial, but because it's something that I'm doing so much for myself, this is an area that I've specialized in. So Matthew had a good amount of resources, and then I kind of sort of grew those quite a bit. So this lesson is very well fleshed out. It's one of our longer lessons. You have all of that material to tear through. Okay. You can get a business mentor through an agricultural perspective as well. All right.
Okay.
There's all of this amazing stuff out there for you. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to put it in your answer in a chain under the business information because it's in that space, right?
Sounds good.
All right. And that's one of the two areas that we draw from for this class specifically.
Okay.
The farming and ranching lesson, and then within healthcare assistance in lesson 3, item number 8 in lesson 3 is all about pets, right? And there are family members, they need healthcare as well. And so Matthew's always kind of combined those topics. All right, so that's all there for you. Now, when you talk about having acreage in Mississippi, that's 50 miles away from you, and you have chickens and a garden, on which property do you have the chickens and garden?
It's just a little house. It's just
In Tennessee, right?
no, it's in Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
So
in
do you live
Mississippi.
in Tennessee, but you have all of this
In
in
Mississippi,
Mississippi?
yes.
Okay. And who tends your
It's a
chickens
home
and your garden
it's a
and stuff?
home that's there. My parents, they stay when they sick of the kids and grandkids, they run there and
Oh,
think
okay.
that they're hiding, but we
Oh, that's
always
so
find
cute.
them. Yeah, so
So
that's
they take care of the chickens and the garden when they go
yes.
back? Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
and but that is like my niece, my nephews, and all of that. Once a week we um load everybody up and we go out there and take care of everything, see what needs to be harvested and not and then they enjoy,
Mhm.
we unwind from electronics all together, and then we put up the jumbotron and watch movies on the jumbotron and look at the stars and all of that kind of stuff, bonfires. So we
Oh, that's so beautiful.
completely unlock away from all technology. So I, the area that it's in, it's no towers, so it's hard for your phone services to work anyway. So
Gotcha.
um, I enjoy it, but far as the most part, I live in Memphis, which I can get closer to a hospital, closer to this, closer to that, you know. But I am trying to expand. I don't want to live in Memphis the rest of my life. I was born and raised here, but it's just not a safe place for my kids to be.
So would you want to move the focus to Mississippi, or do you still want to stay in Tennessee?
Um, it don't necessarily, it could be anywhere. I'm not prone to moving across the nation at all. It's just wherever I can locate some um land that's the agriculture is being um I guess not as upbeat as it should be. Like pick it back up. A lot of the farmers or things are dying off and leaving and stuff like that. And so now nobody is taking over. So I think it's time for the younger generation to pick up where they left off.
All right. So to me, what it really sounds like is getting into your own thought processes and thinking about where you want to start pushing forward. Is the
Mhm.
amount that you get on the property in Mississippi at the level that you guys can maintain it as a group going to produce enough for you to broach that producing grant like opportunity barrier, right?
Okay. Yes,
And then
ma'am.
you need to know if you're selling in Mississippi or Tennessee to find out what the barrier is. I found out from my Natural Resources Conservation Service, that's your Farm Service Agency, your NRCS, which is the Natural Resources Conservation Service, as well as your Rural Development Office should all have information in that light. So let's do two things really quickly. Let's jump back into this here. And so we're going to walk through finding your dashboard. And I believe that's going to be here. So we're going to go ahead and click. This is in the Farming and Ranching lesson in the Start My Business collection.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I thought. This is Find Your Local Dashboard or Service Center. It's going to take us to your dashboard, okay? So we're going to go with both of them. And Mississippi being the first in the alphabet, we'll grab that one. And what is the county that your property in Mississippi is located?
Tate.
All right, go, boom, view your dashboard. Okay, so this is already really great information. Okay, so
Okay, so
we have that.
they have a lot. Oh, Senatobia, that's not far at all.
Okay, so then, but we're gonna click, I got this, so you can start here. Actually, let's, okay, if we can do that. Okay, so then we're gonna go view your dashboard. And this is your local dashboard for Tate County, Mississippi. It has news in the agricultural world, commodity prices, which aren't something that we're worried about yet, that may be something if we continue along this path that has more value to us. And then you get to what I consider the best part of your local dashboard, your Farm Service Agency, your Natural Resources Conservation Service, and your Rural Development Office. Okay, and so for me, I work the most closely with Natural Resources Conservation Service because I'm so environmentally specific, right? I have very specific environmentally sound-based ideologies.
Okay.
For most, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
Okay. For most, the Farm Service Agency is more generally available. And then you also have rural development, which I think would be useful in conjunction with either of these services. I haven't needed yet to explore my own. I'm so busy just putting in the base structure of the garden here on the property that we bought that at this point, because the type of greenhouse that I want and the type of irrigation, which will be a very unique sprinkler system, they aren't covered by the programs that the NRCS does have right now for both irrigation and something called a high tunnel, which is a different modified form of greenhouse. It's like a hoop house, like an old-fashioned wagon that went west, those bars that go across, and then a canvas cloth. Instead, it would be a plastic sheeting covering, and they're quite large, and you can get a high tunnel in the right circumstances through the NRCS. Colleen Cormier, one of our members, has talked about it. She was able to get a high tunnel on her property, all right? It would blow away here, and we don't have a big enough property for it. And then the other one is for your more traditional irrigation. Irrigation is all irrigation. Our sprinkler lines are technically a form of irrigation, but they're urban irrigation called sprinklers as a further distinction, right? So they don't qualify for that opportunity either, unfortunately. All right, so I have other routes that I will need to take. That's something that we all have to look at. If what they have available doesn't fit and you can't get it to modify, because I tried, I said, you know, this is a type of modified greenhouse. I want a Wally-Teeny, a partially submerged greenhouse, because the winds are so bad here. That is an actual structure with real mounted walls, not like a home structure's walls, but very mounted, sturdy walls that are out of reclaimed windows from buildings that have been torn down or that the windows have been replaced in and they were able to salvage the windows or whatever. And like I said, a specifically modified type of sprinkler system that's going to be here. But they didn't have wiggle room. So it's very specifically defined. Some of them are, some of them aren't. That's why we always want to try and think outside that box. But this is your dashboard, okay? And so this is a great place for you to start. Finding out your Farm Service Agency should absolutely be able to tell you the threshold for production style opportunities as a farmer or rancher. What kind of levels do you have to reach? Don't talk about getting grants and grant-like opportunities. Notice how I kind of didn't say that. You would like to be able to work into the farming and ranching community, at what amount of income do you have to bring in to be considered a producer within their definitions or something like
Okay.
that? Does that
Yes,
make
ma'am.
sense?
And
And then I
perfect
do
sense.
have one other thing, the farm service agent. Where is Jennifer? He's my farming and ranching coordinator. Okay, so that's another place. And then I believe that's the one that I actually got this information from about for Utah being $1,000 for 3 years.
Okay.
Let's see. That is the farm servicing. This is going to be in beginning farmers and ranchers hub. Okay. And so you have your beginning farmer and rancher coordinators. Excuse me. Okay. Beginning farmer coordinator, view beginning farmer and rancher coordinators. All right, so this is where we started for this one. Then we'll click here. And this is your beginning farmer and rancher coordinators. And again, we're looking for Mississippi on this round, but you understand how you would do it for Tennessee, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so I'll put all these pieces into chains so that you can follow through and do it again for
Okay.
Tennessee. Okay.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
so absolutely. What we're looking for though right now is Mississippi. So we're going to grab the information there. Okay. And I don't remember if I got this one. So let's grab this one as well. Now we're going to jump back to our answers. And this is the farming and ranching lesson. Then let's start a whole new chain for each of those two different topics with the understanding that they come out of the farming and ranching.
Okay.
Okay. And so the first ones first. This is something. Yeah, service center locator. No, I think that this is where we started for this one. Okay. Or is that this? That's that. Okay, let's do that. Now I know exactly where we're at with our little happy candy copy paste. This is the beginning website that we pulled up to work towards getting your Farm Service Agency, Natural Resources Conservation Service, and rural
development. Okay.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes,
You're like there, right?
Yes, ma'am. I
All
get you.
right. So let's post that piece. Oh my goodness, this kills me. This new upgrade. They call it an upgrade, and in some things maybe yes, and in some things it kills me. Okay, so that's where we started with that. And then we pulled up the dashboard for Tate, Mississippi. Let's type that in there. Local dashboard for Tate. All right. And that's pretty clear. Find your local service center. Then here is your local service center. Then we'll start a new comment thread. And this is going to be where we walked through to getting your beginning farmer and rancher coordinator, okay? And there's a lot of other great material on every single one of these websites. It's just like never-ending beauty and amazing opportunity and resources, both funding and things like knowledge or training or wonderful things. Then you got your beginning farmer and rancher coordinator. Oh, nope, let's go ahead and put the actual site so that you can get there for Tennessee. Is this going to be the same thing? I don't believe so. Okay, yes, that was the one I wasn't sure if I'd copied. So that's the second piece that we got to. In order to get to your beginning farmer and rancher coordinator, Charles Lee. Okay, and then we'll just put beginning farmer rancher coordinator. That's also a word, but not the word I'm looking for. All right, there we go. Excellent. Wonderful. So that is how you work these
Okay.
steps, right, guys? All of you, it doesn't matter what step-by-step guide, that's what it looks like to work the steps. Then, of course, now for Candace, she will want to start beginning the outreach to these folks, right? And so you might actually begin with Charles Lee. You have his name, you have his email, and a phone number, and he's the beginning farmer and rancher coordinator. Before you even do that, though, I would like for you to start doing some internal thought about how you'd like it to look and what you'd like those steps to look like, right? I outlined my process. What would your process that is a similar step-by-step sort of a goal process to get to your end goal out here? What does your 3 month goal look like, your 1 year goal look like, your 5 year goals in your own mind, just in your own head, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
So when you're doing that, here in the lesson for farmers and ranchers, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see you have learn, plan, and build, okay? Mentors and state support. So that's great. You don't have to go through all of these pieces. You're doing one in your head, and then that would then be when you start reaching out to the different coordinators and such that you have access to. Sorry, we have flies occasionally. We don't really like to kill bugs, and so we let them live a little bit too freely until they bother us too much. And then business planning and education. And so all of this, these first couple of steps here, then you get into the grant and loan programs. You can't really ask for money if you don't really know what you want the money for, right?
That's correct. That's right.
So do you see how well this is laid out here to help you begin your process, what your process looks like? Maybe it looks like mine, maybe it looks completely different. And these are the tools that you have to help you do that. Okay?
No, I sure appreciate everything that you have done for me tonight. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I love talking about it. Can you tell? All right. So do you already know pretty well how to bookmark a post and everything, Candace? I know you and I have worked together.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
So we'll go ahead and leave that as is and not overburden you with that. Is there anything else that we can walk through with you while you have the floor?
No, ma'am, that's all.
All right. Well, thank you so much, my dear.
All right, thank you.
Of course. And then oh, she's already got herself muted. All right, guys, we don't have a ton of time. I really didn't push Candace to go fast because this is what this class is really about. And I wanted you guys to get to see what amazing breadth and depth and variety that there is within this country world. All right. It's amazing. And it doesn't just have to be for business. Well, that's what our lesson focuses on. They have a lot for rural development for individuals that aren't interested in business as well. Okay. And there are also a ton of resources for our wonderful furry friends, our scaly friends, whatever they may be, type of pet parents that we are, or animal lovers, right? Lots of resources for that. So does anybody have any questions that they would like to talk about? We're at the end, so we won't really have time for open-ended. Anything about what Candace and I talked about, or any quick questions within country living and business or pets that you would like thrown out there that we can rock out for you tonight? Oh, we got 2 hands raised. Let's check those out. Shun, is that correct? Is that how I say your name?
Sean.
Sean. Hello,
Mhm.
Sean. How can we
Hello.
help you today?
Well, I just didn't know if you already knew, like, is it easier to try to get farmland without having a dwelling home on it, or does that matter?
It doesn't
Like,
matter. No.
okay.
Um,
I didn't know if it
it's
was
all about your
easier.
journey, right? So when we have these kind of big picture questions, they really kind of just stall us. And the best thing to do is simply start going out there and looking at the programs and seeing if you can fit into
Yes.
the programs that you can find with what you
Okay.
want for your life. Or if
Right.
you could maybe modify it slightly to fit what's out there, things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I was thinking I would definitely someday like to live out. I call it the country, but also I was thinking if I wanted to have something where it's production or just like land, I didn't know if it'd be easier to acquire rather a residential farmland or for agriculture. Just like production, like you were saying. I didn't know which one does it
It's
make.
better to think about what do you want to do with any land that you would get so that you can look
Oh,
at
okay.
that to
And
see if,
see which one.
right, so that you could talk to another mentor and I can just tag you here and
Yes.
you're kind of interested in that same big picture vision
Mhm.
and all of that type of living and thought process. This is a
Yes.
really fleshed out piece here, and you can follow these steps to get to your coordinators, to your farm
Okay.
service agency. And
Sure.
at each place, just take the top one and walk through the steps that we just
Okay.
walked through. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Oops.
I just thought I would see if there was one simpler than the other,
No,
Start,
not
take
really.
baby steps.
And at
Okay.
times it may be that one is easier than the other, and then it'll switch, or they'll be identical most of the time. Like you're instead of wondering what is, go find it, right? Like
Okay.
go look and see what you
Yes.
find, and then
Okay.
see how your ideas match with that. And if they don't, talk to these folks and see what
Oh,
else there might be out there that you haven't come across. Does that make
sure.
sense?
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm.
And so, oops, I thought I had my icon there. Oh, whoa, I'm clicking too quick. Okay. And I'm guessing that you are Newbern, right? Sean Newbern?
No,
Oh,
Smalley.
I don't have any other Seans. Let's,
Chandri. Chandri.
okay, gotcha.
Sorry. Yeah, I just have
Beautiful.
Sean because I know it's always how do you pronounce it? So I figured I'd make it easy.
Well, I think it's both gorgeous, fun,
Thank you.
a fun variation on your nickname and a beautiful full name. So
Okay, thank you.
absolutely. Oh, and we don't need anything else. That's just the information that you need there, as well as
Yes.
being able to look at it through a nonprofit and or a for-profit business model if
Okay,
you want
thank
to
you.
take it to that large of a level, all right?
Yes, definitely.
Excellent. And so I believe Candace is already over there. We've worked over in Collectively Rewilding. Is that right, Candace? And I think she's still here with us. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. And so it's always open to any and all Let's Go Help members. It's actually open
Yes.
to the whole world now that we're going nonprofit. It started as a lifetime free membership only for Let's Go Help members, but you can
Mhm.
always come and join me in Collectively Rewilding to talk more about like what you would look at as the land or as a farming modality. We talk here about the resources. We don't talk about the different ideologies that one could put into practice as a farming business as much. That would be over in Collectively Rewilding. And you guys can find those you can find the link and information in the unit for collectively or for country living and business. Oh my goodness, my tongue get twisted up here. Replays and PDFs, all of the different areas have their own unit. And so country living and business, right there at the top, free lifetime membership for the Let's Go Help community. Please feel free to join me over there where we would be able to talk more about what options that you would have as like even to did you want to just touch into it and start with a little windowsill garden to see if you even like putting your hands in the dirt, right? To talk about where
Mhm.
you are in that level, not the funding. Does that make sense?
Okay. Mhm.
All right. And so guys, let's talk to
Thank you.
Buford Loke, I think is how you pronounce your name there, really quickly and get an answer for you as well if we're able to do that. Buford, how can we help you today? And I'll ask you to unmute. Oh no, and he may have stepped away from his device or be unable to answer for some reason. Okay,
You
let's just
put something in the chat.
see that. Yeah, thank you. Oh, Louisiana. Okay, fun. Thank you, Buford. I really do want to just find some way for us all to go forward that's better for us as people and more reasonable for future generations, right? You got to stay within the fiscal as well as the environmental, right? I think that we can find a blending of those two ideologies. And so thank you so much. Oh, and he likes Mother Earth type literature, that Mother Earth News. It's an oldie but goodie. It's been around for a long time. Oh, nice. I want to garden until I'm 100 as well, Buford. hmm there's definitely ways to monetize even very small operations, Buford, definitely. I can tag you in that same post and you can start talking to one of those types of mentors as well. The beginning farming and ranching coordinators always being a good choice, right? You have no phone or Google account, you can take an email that is not a Gmail and you can turn it into a Google account, Buford. If that will work for you, put yes, that will work for you in the chat here, and I can share that information with you as well. You can absolutely get them on your desktop computer. Don't worry about that at all, Buford. And I'm going to get some different pieces there. Pronounced Luke, not Loke. Okay, thank you. And yes, that will work. Okay, so let's get a couple of different things going over here for you. I am going to add you to the post that we created for Candace that also was going to work well for Sean to start that journey with. And so we'll have you here. Oh, silly thing. And there you are right at the top. All right, Buford Luke. I'll have to reorganize my brain. I see your name and I had a sound in my head. Okay, so that's that part. Now let's create another post for you that will deal with a few other things. All right. And there you are again. And so first and foremost, the information to turn any email that you use into a Google account. I think that would be probably the most relevant information to begin with. No, actually, okay, I don't use this information very often, so I had to think about where it's at, guys. Okay, so that's actually going to be in the report-based report from a long, long time ago. Just open that right up, actually, and then I'm going to look inside this document because I don't go in here often enough to remember, and I'm going to hit Control F, like Control Find, Control Frank. On a Mac, it would be Command F, Command Find or Frank. And then I'm going to type Gmail right there. Boom. Okay. And that's just going to walk you right through that, Buford. Ooh, that's not any good. Let's get rid of that and just provide the actual link for you. All right, so there is that piece as a beginning point. Then I feel like some overall computer skills might be beneficial for you. Does that sound accurate, Buford? And Robin, do you want to be included in Buford's new post or the other post that I started for Candace? Okay, and so then I need, yes, that's still the right report, but we can find it a little more. No, it's not the right report. I apologize. Let's go into, this is the one I need. Okay, sorry guys. Like I said, I just don't have to use this very often anymore. Those new Unlock Your Goals spaces are just so tremendous. Okay, so I'm also going to include computer and phone equipment and services series because if you don't have a phone, you might want to consider getting one for free or very low cost, as well as the services, both internet and phone are included in here, okay? And then, and I'm so sorry, we're not going to be able to take another hand. Both, you're a newbie, absolutely, Robin. Okay, so first, the training, all right, computer training and writing course series. Oh, so I know where I'm at. All right. And then the computer and phone equipment and services. which you can also find in Pay My Debt and Bills, but we don't have time for me to quite walk through that with you all. Tonight we are on every other Thursday we have a tighter deadline because next will be Tea with the Lesko Trio, and they're going to be started. Let's jump over here into our calendar, get out of this, and they're going to be in just over a quarter of an hour. So dang it, I forgot to get their messages out. I am teaching some people how to take care of that, so that'll get a little smoother. Okay, and then yes, I think that was everything that I wanted to get for you, Buford. I'm also going to pop on here how to bookmark or save this or any other document, since it looks like we can't talk back and forth. I'm not sure if you're already familiar with that skill. And so, or feature, I should say, more accurate. And then I believe you're pretty comfortable getting into Lesko Help 2 and your notification bell. Is that right, Buford? And Robin, I'll need to know your last name to be able to tag you. Absolutely, Buford. Okay. I'm glad that I finally got to help you. I've seen you at so many different sessions and classes and things, but I don't believe that I've gotten to help you yet. Thank you, Robin. Okay. Oops. What am I doing here? Silly me. And there you are right there. Excellent. So that tags you in the creating of a Google account with an email that is not a Gmail, Robin, as well as some computer information there. And then let's tag you also in the post for Candace. There we go. And that is Robin. There we go. And that tags you there. And then let me just really quickly, Robin, throw up a couple of tours for you that may be of use as we're winding this down tonight. It just started off nice and smooth. We have the welcome tour. Okay. And the live events tour. And that'll get you off and running to a real nice start there, Robin. Right. And then, Robin, if you're able to unmute yourself and we can walk through, excuse me, being able to locate this material so I know that you're able to get this answer that we've put together?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so let me just grab the little meme that goes along with this particular comment. All right, so that you know exactly what it looks like when Matthew goes live internally. He's not scheduled. He just goes when he has something to tell you all. And that way you can see both our regularly scheduled events as well as look for those lives randomly by Matthew. And I do want to throw on here how to bookmark or save this or any other post so that you can get back to this as many times as you need, and any other posts that you want to return to as you continue on. And now the important pieces on how to get here. So are you comfortable at this point getting into Lesko Help 2 as a website or an application?
Yes.
All right, excellent. And do you know what I mean by the notification bell, Robin?
Kind of, sort of. I've seen it through.
That is where we communicate with you, right? So that's going to hold all the good stuff that you can check out. You can also just sit in here and play. There's no wrong or right way to do it, just what works for you, and keep working it, right?
Okay.
And so let's check really quickly. I believe you already had a picture uploaded. And you do. There's your smiling, happy face. And that's the picture you're going to be looking for in a circle. On a computer or laptop, it's generally in the upper right-hand corner. On a phone, and I'm not sure with tablets, the bottom right-hand corner, but you're just looking for your smiling face. Right next to it is your notification bell, and it'll either have numbers like this or a star, and you want to click that, and it'll either say Sabrina Giesler, Robin Figueroa, and start to trail off, or it will say your host Sabrina has tagged or mentioned you in a post. Pull that up, and that's going to pull that post up. All right, and the others where it'll say Sabrina Giesler has mentioned you in a comment. Those are going to be the tags on these other posts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It took me a little bit to get to the live because every time I pressed it, it didn't do anything until I actually went
Uh-oh.
to. I got the help to, and then I was able to get there. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, good, good.
Learning.
Okay. And so this, let me just do this really quickly so that we have a message out for these ladies. Tea with the Lesko Trio, Tammy, Ethel, and Amber. They've been doing this right alongside me pretty well as long as I've been doing it. They used to take over when we ran out of questions and during the breaks when we had really long classes. We had one that was 7.5 hours at one point. And so they were a tremendous part of the beginning of the process of implementing these lives here in Let's Go Help Too. So definitely check out those ladies. And then let's also grab, okay, you were talking about coming in. So you came in, you tried to go to your email, and in the email there was a link and you tried to click that, but that didn't work. But when you came into Let's Go Help Too and you went to that space, you could click it and it worked. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so I don't think you do actually need the troubleshooting guide. I was going to get the troubleshooting guide, but as long as you understand just coming into Let's Go Help Too and that's working, that's probably your best method. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'll keep doing it.
Coming into this space, into this website, this platform, Let's Go Help Too, it's really, if you only spend 5 minutes on Sundays where you're just tired and you just don't have it, come in and jump into the Daily Boost Zone in the Stay Tuned collection with Michelle Cairns, Teresa Graham, and Tammy Larson. They put a lot of really lighthearted, fun, community-oriented conversation type starters. Come in and say hi and then go to bed, right? But come in every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, and you'll end up loving it and getting to be very comfortable and start really understanding the world that has opened up to you in grant-like opportunities. Does that sound good?
Okay, because I was saying earlier in the other live session was, it seems that for anyone who wants to do business, it would be a little easier to get grant money if they started a
No, it's just
nonprofit first.
it really, okay, so having a nonprofit and a for-profit is a really good way, and Megan P can tell you that the best. But as far as for individuals and things, there are plenty of grant-like opportunities. You don't have to have a business in order to be able to get grant-like opportunities.
All right.
Right.
Tour already for farming, and you know, he's actually my cousin, so some kind of big what do you call it, highfalutin doctor of farmology.
Maybe botany or
Yeah, he's really good at that. Get like, you talk about corporate farming, he could get you started. But he because he's retired, I have to go on his time.
understandable.
So, you know,
Okay. Yep. That's the other class folks telling me that I am past my time. And let's see.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Absolutely, guys. I'm going to close it down in just 2 seconds. Let me just, oh, that's where I needed to be at 5:45. Okay, so it's supposed to start almost now. And that is when we want this post scheduled. Yes. Okay, excellent. And so let's just take a quick peek at that. We have tea with the Lesko Trio, Tammy Larson, Ethel Grant, and Amber Hawkins. And that is coming up in about 8 minutes wherever you are. So 4:45 p.m. Pacific, 5:45 p.m. Mountain, 6:45 p.m. Central, and 7:45 p.m. Eastern. And I will be back with you possibly with Miss Megan tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 Mountain, 4:30 Central, and 5:30 Eastern for Action Plan for your nonprofit. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Please feel free to unmute and say goodnight, everyone.
Nighty.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank
Enjoy your
you.
evening. Bye, guys.